We are continuing our Arkansas Heritage Tour as we are learning more about the Arkansas Natural Heritage Commission and its mission to protect and preserve the natural state. So I am so excited to be up in Benton County in Northwest Arkansas here at Devil's Eyebrow Natural Area, and this is just one of the many natural areas around the state. So joining me to talk more about this is Dr. Dustin Lynch, the aquatic ecologist at the Arkansas Natural Heritage Commission. Thank you so much for joining me, Dustin.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so explain a little bit more about this natural area that we're visiting today.
So this is the Devil's Eyebrow Natural Area, and it's one of our larger natural areas at the Arkansas Natural Heritage Commission. So it's over 3,600 acres here at the northern end of Beaver Lake, and actually parts of it go all the way up to the Missouri state line. So really extensive natural area. It has some really beautiful rugged topography. There are canyons and springs and sinkholes and caves. And it also protects some really cool plants and animals. So it's got really important plant diversity. I think there have been over 700 species of plants documented at this one site. And there are some really cool animals such as eastern collared lizard, northern long-eared bat, or Williams crayfish, which is an animal that I first documented here a few years ago, those are all rare species in Arkansas.
That is so neat. This is a beautiful area if people have more time to come up and explore.
Yeah.
Explain exactly what does the Arkansas Natural Heritage Commission do?
So our mission is to protect the natural heritage and diversity of Arkansas, and we do that a number of different ways, and one of them is by protecting places like this, of course. So we actually have 79 different natural areas across the state. Any part of Arkansas, anywhere you are in the state, there's a natural area pretty close to you, and they're all really cool, worth exploring. So we protect places like that, and then the other thing that we do is document and track populations of rare plants and animals, and that's really what I do a lot of. So I do surveys looking for the rarest species in the state, because we can't protect those things unless we know where they are, so we have to go look for them. Explain
some of those changes that are taking place in the state right now during the fall.
Yeah, the most visible, I think that most people notice, is fall foliage, which is beautiful. And what's really interesting about that I've learned is people don't really even understand why that happens, believe it or not. So it's got something to do with the breakdown of chlorophyll, which is what gives the plant the green color. And those other pigments are present other times of the year, but they're more prominent in the fall. But there's lots of other things that happen. Birds are migrating, so some species, especially those that eat insects or fruit, will go south for the winter, and they'll start doing that in the fall. For other species, this is where they winter, so they'll be coming in the winter from further north. Some of the things I study, like fish and amphibians and crayfish, you don't think about them too much in the winter, but this time of year they start slowing down as the water temperature cools off, and they're not moving very much. They're not going to be eating as much, and they're just not going to be using as much energy.
Throughout your studies and research, what is one of those things, whether that be a plant or an animal, that you found that was just so interesting to you, that you're like, this is so neat that we have this right here in Arkansas?
That's really hard for me because I study almost everything, but I have to, when you said that, what pops into my head is a couple years ago I went snorkeling with really big alligator snapping turtles in the Saline River. And those things are monsters, and they're sitting on the bottom, and you're seeing an animal that large. It's really cool to be there next to it. And yeah, right here in Arkansas.
This is crazy. I would be so intimidated and scared. I would
they don't
not get close to that.
They don't move very much. So, so you're usually safe. So.
Way cool. It's so awesome to hear and pick your brain a little bit about things to see and do right here in the natural state. How can Arkansans get out and explore what we have to offer right here?
So our website is really good. If you go to that website, it's got a map of all the natural areas. I guarantee you there's one near you wherever you live. They're all publicly accessible and open to the public. One thing I would like to make sure people know is there's not trails at a lot of these. This one has some trails, some don't. But if you're kind of adventurous and you want to get kind of more off the beaten path and away from some of the more well-known parks, we have some of the most fantastic places in the state to explore.
And that is a good point of what's the difference between a natural area and just like a park with sidewalks.
If you went to a state park, usually there's going to be things like a visitor center and restrooms. Ours are pretty much, in their natural condition. There's interpretive signs and panels. We have a little bit of that stuff. There's a couple that have boardwalk trails and things like that. But these really are acquired and maintained for the natural things that live there. We still want people to go and appreciate them, but if you're really a nature lover, then I think you'll love natural areas. They're really cool. So.
Well, I have so enjoyed coming up to Devil's Eyebrow and just exploring with you. Thank you so much for your time and for joining me today.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll have more Good Morning Arkansas after the break.